Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video we're discussing Home Before Dark, written by Riley Sager. It's a thriller. It's very atmospheric. It's very gothic in atmosphere. I love the characters in this book, well most of them anyway. I did like this book very much. I think it's so spot on in so many ways. Here's the cover. I've been going through a lot of Riley Sager books lately and it's been a bit of a roller coaster. I haven't loved them all, but this one I enjoyed so much. I recommend this book very much. So as I'm recording this, there's a huge windstorm outside, and I don't know if you'll hear it in the video, but it's very powerful. It almost sounds like we're in the middle of a hurricane or something. That's how strong the wind is outside. Well, it seems to be anyway. But anyway, for this book, back to the plot. Our main character, Maggie, she doesn't believe in ghosts, and that's despite when she was a young child, her family escaping her home because it was haunted, or allegedly haunted. Her father wrote a book about the experience, and that book went on to be a bit of a bestseller in the country, despite it not being a well-told story. I think just the concept of the ghost story in the house, the haunted house, made it a worthwhile read that people caught people's attention. And poor Maggie, from being a child right through to how old she is now in the story, has been not a victim of that book, but she's gone through life with people pointing at her and saying, that's the girl from the book, that sort of thing. So she's been in the public eye, despite not wanting to be in the public eye, basically. So it hasn't been a good experience for Maggie for her father to produce that book. And all through her life, she's wondered if it's true or not. She thinks her father's a liar. She thinks he made it all up, that it didn't happen, because she can't recall all the things going on in that house. She was so young. I think she was 5 years old at the time when they ran from the house. So at that age, she can't recall. She's blocked out all the things that happened in that house in the 20 or so days they lived there. But she's shocked now to learn that she's inherited the house. Her father still owned the house they escaped from all those years ago, and now it's hers. But as he was dying, he warned her, don't go back to the house at all. Do not enter the house, but she does. She wants to go back because she wants to learn about the past. She wants to work out what's true or not, and she thinks by going back it will re-jog her memories or something. So she heads back there, and there's two reasons why she goes back anyway. One, to work out the past, and also she wants to just renovate the house a little bit and sell it on. That's her plan anyway. Going back to the house, it's where the whole story gets super creepy and chilling. I'm not going to go into all the things that happen in the story. It just reads like a haunted house ghost story when you're reading it, but it is a genre blending book. There are different things going on in this book. It's a thriller as well. There's mystery. There's other things going on in there as well, a bit of drama. There's a lot of twists and turns. There's so many things going on in this story. I think the author did a great job in this book. This book is a split narrative with past and present. Despite not being the biggest fan of that, I'm trying to just go on board when people do it more. I'm trying to enjoy it more in stories. But I did like it in this book actually. I liked it because in the past narrative, it's not really a narrative in a way. It's chapters from her father's book. And sometimes when you get chapters from diaries or things like that, sometimes it can feel a bit cheesy and a bit of a cop-out. But in this case, it really works. Those chapters from her father's book really set the scene from the past. And they also tell us more about her father. And I really enjoyed those chapters because they get a contrast to what Maggie's experiencing now in the present. And when she talks to people in the present timeline as well, you get little contrast between that book in the past narrative and the present day. And you start to unravel what's real or not. Bit by bit, you unravel that. That's another strength in this book. The author does a great job in giving us pieces bit by bit, like those onion layers unpeeling when the book progresses. We don't get everything at once, and we have to work for it. We have to read through the whole book to find the truth. And I enjoy books like that where also the characters don't know what's going on. Because in this book we feel Maggie's confusion about all sorts of things going on in the house, from the past and the present. And that's really strong in this book and powerfully done, and it adds so much to this story. So the mystery side of this book, there's a great mystery running through this whole story in the past and present narratives, and that's the disappearance of a girl. This teenage girl vanished on the same night that Maggie and her family escaped the haunted house. that's really keyed into the whole storyline. It's so intriguing and it hooks you into the story as well, because it seems to come out of nowhere as you're reading it. It's not at the very start of the story, so it's not the hook for the story, but it's a hook later on in the book, and it really drags you in further into the narrative, and it's very powerfully done, well written. The mysteries just plays out so well in this story. I enjoyed it so much. The twists and turns in this book, well, there are many, and they're throughout the story. So Riley Sager does not wait to the end of the book to give us twists. So this book is quite twisty, if you like. And I feel like the author's flexing his muscles a little bit just to show how good at twists he is. I get that sense. I get the sense that in his books, he's quite good at them. It doesn't matter what you think of the book overall. I think those twists are always quite strong. So I think Riley Sager, one of his strengths is really well-written twists and surprises through the story, and putting those all through the book, not waiting till the end. The conclusion is a surprise, well, more a shock really than just a surprise. It's very powerful, it's well done. It's something that I wouldn't have guessed, even though I think there's little hints throughout the story when you look back at it. It's not something I would guess to happen at the end of the story. So I think that's really well done and shows great planning by the author in this book. You get the sense that Riley Sager's planned this a lot. You just get that sense because it plays out so well. I don't know for a fact if he has or not, but I just have that feeling that he sat down and planned this book before it's written. For Maggie, our protagonist, I enjoyed this character a lot. She has that undefinable quality, I think, in the book. Some characters do, don't they? So in some books, you get a character that immediately you engage with and you're hooked with that character and drags you into the story. And you don't quite know why at the very start. And as the book progresses, it comes clearer. And that was like this character, Maggie. Straight away, I was hooked by Maggie into the story. And it's not because at the start she was a perfect character. There's just some quality about her that hooks you into the story. She's clever, she's brave, she's curious. Her point of view is very clear in the story as well. It's well written and very consistent. So overall, I did like this character. Her history as well, having her appear in those past chapters of her father's book and how her history plays out there to what she is now in the story, that just adds more structure to the character as well. It's a great way to give history to the character without giving us info dumps, because it all feels real, all feels natural. Ewan is Maggie's father. Now I want to mention him because he's not in the book as a character per se, but he's there in the past storyline because he wrote the book. There's chapters from the past storyline, and he's in those chapters because he injected himself into the story, of course, that he wrote about the house all those years ago. And that makes him a strong character in my view, because we get to learn a lot about him in those past chapters. We learn about the fact that, is he always truthful? That's a question about him. Was Maggie's father telling the truth all the time? He always says he was. But as we go through the book, do we find out differently? And that made him very intriguing as a character. And even though he's not there in the present day as a character, the thought of him is, he's in the background in Maggie's thoughts, all through her head through this book. So Ewan as a character, despite not being an actual character in the story per se, is a powerful character in the book. Dane is the grandson, I think, of the original groundskeeper when Maggie and her family first lived in this house. He's interesting because he adds intrigue into the story. I don't know if he's perfectly written as a character. I didn't get that sense from him, but he's strong enough. And I like the fact that he brings something else to the story, because he's a link to the past and the present. And he also is like a sounding board for Maggie in the book as well. I get that sense from this character that his main role is for Maggie to have another character to bounce ideas and thoughts and things from. And I get that sometimes in books authors do that. They have a support character who's like a sounding board, and I think Dane plays that role. This book is brilliant. There's so many things in this book that are perfect in my view. I rate it a 5 out of 5. There's great characters, the mystery is so strong, there's thrills, there's twists, there's turns, surprises, everything you can ask for in a thriller/mystery is in this book. I enjoyed it so much, and I do recommend this very much. On my channel, I review many thrillers. If you enjoy thrillers, check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to a video for another book I'm sure you'll enjoy.